Well, happy Friday. We're starting our new segment called Weekly Weather Why, where you send in your questions to me about weather or environment, and I will answer them for you right here every Friday. This week, to start it off, we're talking about why does rain smell? In fact, many of you may be wondering why there is that unique scent after rain or thunderstorm passes by, and well, water doesn't actually smell. So what is it that you're actually smelling after a rainstorm passes by? Well, you can thank plants, rocks, and bacteria. In fact, the smell of rain comes from the Greek word petrichor, from Petra, which means rock, and ichor, which is the blood-like substance that flows through the veins of gods. This used to be considered a sacred substance in Greek mythology. Now, the smell you're smelling isn't actually from the rocks, it's from the plants and the acids that they release. All the water that does go into the soil, they do create a very thin acid. Many of these you might find in common food labels, such as stearic and palmitic acids. If you recognize those, well, they're actually coming from plants. These do build up on a thin layer of soil being dug up by earthworms that forms on those rocks and outside plant leaves. So once it rains, especially after a dry spell, it'll kick up all those spores, which does release those fragrant compounds that you are smelling. So in fact, what you are smelling is compounds that living things have produced to get through dry weather. That's why, especially after a longer dry spell, that fragrant scent might be a little more potent because of all the extra acids that are being released into the air. Now, there's also a scent that you may smell before it even rains, and that's something we're all familiar with, which is called ozone. Now, ozone is an oxygen compound, I should say, of 3 different oxygen molecules. It forms by different lightning ionizing the particles. Comes from the Greek word ozine, or to smell. That's why you may smell a little bit of a different ionized scent before the rain actually hits. So before the rain moves in, you can smell some ozone. Afterwards, you can thank chemistry and the compounds from plants that build up on rocks and sediment and soil that kick up those spores into the atmosphere. Next time you're outside, you can thank all the chemistry for what you are smelling. Now, next week, we're going to be talking about the windiest months in northern Michigan. If you have a question, just send me an email at cmelberg@upnorthlive.com.